about the writing this query. Let's say you got the table name and you know that, let's say there is a table called AP invoices. It stores all the invoices information. You want to write the query and get that information from the database. Okay, so let me just create one sample invoice here. I'm just going to the invoice front end here. We'll see how to write, query here, how to write a query for an invoice. Better create one sample invoice here, create invoice. And we'll try to write a simple select statement to retrieve this information from the database tables. Now this is our business unit. For which business unit you are creating this invoice? Who is the supplier? Supplier pays the bill. Invoice is nothing but a bill which we'll receive from the suppliers. Supplier number, supplier site, and legal entity nothing but company. Which company you put amount, let's say $1,000. Then we have the lines information here. Choose the distribution set. It will automatically distribute our invoice accounts, invoice amount to different accounts. So no need to enter the distributions now. Just created one invoice. What is the invoice number? A1 and amount $1,000 US. And supplier name is Advanced Corporation. Supplier number is this supplier site and legal entity business unit we have given. And we also specified what is the payment term, invoice date, date. So all these details we entered at header level. Line level, we specified the accounting information and also the line type information, distribution set. If we click show more, we can find more details here. So there will be accounting information, tax information, and descriptive flux field, additional information. This all fields comes at header level. But generally what Oracle will do is they'll try to keep the important fields and try to keep whatever the regular fields we use in the invoice page on the first one. So they'll try to keep it here. Okay. So now the invoice number is A1. A1 is the invoice number. I would like to query this invoice details from the database tables. Okay. So let's just go for save and close. When we want to connect with the database, we have to go to Navigator in this tools, reports and analytics. This is the only place where we can write the query and fetch the data from the database. Fetch the data from the database. Go to reports and analytics. When we talk about reports, there are two. One is BI reports, another one is OTBI analysis. In BI reports, we can write select statement, means SQL queries, and fetch the data from tables. In analysis, it's a drag and drop tool. We try to design the dashboards and try to design the charts. Okay, let's go for report now. We can use browse catalog. Both are same. Browse catalog. System will open this reporting part in another window tab here. A new tab we are. This is completely BI environment, business intelligence reporting environment. There is a menu here, create, and we can find OTBI menu. This is OTBI menu, OTBI report development, and this is for a BI report. So here we can find two options. One is develop the OTBI analysis and develop the BI reports here. Development of BI report. When we talk about the report, the basic word, not only in Oracle Cloud, if we talk about any software, any business application, what is the meaning of report? The client is doing the business day to day. They are entering their transactions into the software. From the front end, they are entering the details and save and submit. This information stores in the backend tables. in the backend database tables. End of the day or end of the week or end of the month or end of the quarter or end of the period or end of the year, the client wanted to generate the reports date-wise, supplier-wise, customer-wise, employee-wise, user details-wise, invoice-wise, status-wise, payments. There will be different requirement. According to that, we need to select the data from the database and generate the output in the PDF. That is used for analysis. The client wants to analyze their business. What is their sales in the last 1 week? They wanted to compare last week sales and previous one week. So they wanted to compare this. When they want to compare, they need a data into some Excel sheet, or they want the output into PDF, or they wanted to see the analysis or dashboard. So this all comes under the reporting. This all comes under the reporting. So whatever we entered in the front end, when we are doing functional setups and functional transactions, whatever we entered, if we talk about HCM, we hired employee, we transferred employee, we terminated employee, we reversed the employee, we have rehired the employee, we have promoted the employee. These all are day-to-day transactions. Hundreds of transactions happen from every business unit, means from every branch. All this data stores in the database. And the client wants to know how many promotions we have done last week, how many terminations happened, and what was the reason, and how many people has resigned, how many people we have terminated. So this all information they wanted to fetch. There, the technical consultants comes into the picture, write the queries and build the reports in a two-way. One is writing the BI reports, another one is a OTBA analysis. These two. Right now, we created an invoice, right, in account payables. So we wanted to write a simple select statement in the report. So report will have two things. One is data model, another one is layout model. So data model is used to select the data from database. Purely SQL select statements we are going to write. We'll use where clause, group by clause, having clause, order by clause, subqueries, correlated subqueries. Complete SQL we are going to implement over here. Okay. Once we select the data from the database, client wanted to have this data in different formats. They want in Excel, they want in PDF, they want in XML, they want in RTF, they want in MS Word, they want in PowerPoint presentation, and they wanted to have some sub-templates in multi-language. They want in Excel sheet with multiple sheets. The output has to be designed. They wanted to have with their logo, master detail information. Okay, because while creating invoice, you have entered maximum data, but client don't want all those information. They just need invoice number, invoice currency, amount, and who is the supplier, and how much we have paid, and what is the balance. That's only few columns that they want, or more columns also they want. So these all things we have to do it in the data model. Once we select the data from the database tables, then we try to display the output in the templates. So there will be two things. One is data model, another one is a layout. Data model is to select the data from the database tables by writing the SQL queries. Layout model is used to display the data, whatever you selected. So in the layout model, we don't write any coding, just a designing part. Data model is the place where you will write either one query or multiple queries, either one table or multiple tables, either with parameter or without parameters, either with list of values or without list of values. This is all we are going to implement in the data model. Maximum work will be there in the data model only. When we are working as technical consultant, mainly we will be working with the data model, and layout is a simple. When we design 5-6 reports or templates, then we can easily do that. Okay. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to write a simple query. Let's go to data model here to retrieve the invoices data. Now this is the environment. Now what system is asking me, do you want to write data sets? Data sets means SQL queries. You can write SQL queries, you can write LDAP query, MDX analysis, HTTP. There are different ways you can write the queries and pull the data from database. But when we are working with Oracle Cloud, obviously we'll write SQL query because it is more flexible and having more performance also. And let me choose the name of this report SQL query. I'm just mentioning that it is an AP invoice. And the data source. Are you working with finance and supply chain management, or are you working with human capital management or CRM? Which one you are working? Now, invoice data, right? It comes under financial supply chain management. Are you writing SQL? Yes. About procedure, LSQL. Procedure is not allowed in this SaaS environment. Only SQL we can write. So let me write the select statement. Select star from AP invoices all. AP invoices all. Select the tab called data. You got result, but you want to view 10 records now, sample, or 100 records, or you can also view more than 100 also. We have the multiple option, 200 also. And this is the data. I would like to view this in table format. Choose this table view option. This is the output which we got. Okay. So, but I don't want all these details. I just need only my invoice details. I don't want all this information. So go back to diagram and choose this data set, delete data set, and write the where clause, where invoice number equal to A1, where invoice number equal to A1, right? We are trying to filter the records based on some conditions. Let me check this tab data, and obviously we'll find single record, and I can go with rows equal to 5, and this is the table view. And we can find who has created your invoice. So and so user has updated, and this is invoice number A1. We entered supplier name, right? From the front end. Front end, we entered supplier name, but internally system has captured supplier ID. We have to join with supplier tables. We entered ledger name in the front end. Internally, it has been captured your ledger ID, means instead of books ID. That we have to join with the ledgers table. And here I can find invoice currency, payment currency, and invoice amount, 1000. This is supplier side. So this all IDs will be stored. From the front end, we entered invoice. Manually, we have entered the invoice. We select standard invoice. Some information will be stored as it is. Some information stores the IDs. We have to find corresponding tables and join those tables by using primary and foreign key relationship and get the data. But anyway, that's required for the technical consultants. I'm just trying to show you. This is, we entered terms, right? We got terms ID here. And this is amount and invoice date. This all. When this invoice is created. Invoice creation date. So all this still invoice is not approved. We just created an invoice. Even we have not validated also. And this is org ID, and which organization invoice is created, means our legal entity. This is payment currency invoice amount, 1000. Approval is not required. It's showing that it's auto approval. And this is your legal entity ID. Payment method, electronic fund transfer, EFT. And party ID, party site ID. This is all we will find. This is about the data from. Let's say I would like to compare this data in the front end. So we just now we created invoice, right? Let me go back to invoices. I'll just show you how to join another table. This is what the invoice number, but invoice number minimum 3 letters required. Let me search for the invoices which are created today with invoice date. Because when we are searching with invoice, minimum 3 required. Now this is invoice number, right? And this is the payment term. What I have entered here, immediate. Internally, system has stored payment term ID, not the name in the table. So we must know which table stores this payment terms details. Just now in our previous video, we discussed that in financials, we can find the tables, right? Let me go back to cloud applications. Which module we are working? Account tables module we are working. Select all books, go to last, tables and views for financials, right? And which module we are working? Account payables. Let's go to payables module here. Yes. And which table you want to know now? Payment terms. There will be a word called payment, or there might be some word called term. So like that we have to search. AP payment templates. This is not. AP terms is there. Underscore B means that's the base table. Now what system is showing, this table stores the header information about the payment term, which you defined. What is the primary key here? Term ID. That's fine. Our table also, you have the term ID, right? Yes. In the invoice table, term ID is there. In the terms table also, term ID is there. We have to link these two tables and get your details. Let me write a simple join condition. So here AP invoice is all. I'm giving the alias name AI AP invoices all. You can give any alias name, but that's the naming conversion. What is the terms table? AP underscore terms underscore B. That's the terms table. And we want to join both the tables. AP invoices all dot terms ID. Term ID equal to B terms B dot terms ID. Term ID. Not terms ID, it's term ID. Okay. Now get your details. I want invoice number. Okay. And I want invoice amount. Okay. I want invoice currency. I want amount paid. Much amount is paid. This is all you have in your invoice table only, but you need payment term. Okay. In the invoices table, I have term ID. I don't have term name. That's why what I have done, I have joined another table called AP terms because this table contains term name. So that's the primary key. And we can find, where is that? AP invoices all terms ID. That is the foreign key here, which we have. Terms ID in the invoice table. Get your column. Terms, okay. Spelling mistake. Yes. Name is the alias name. Instead of that, I would like to have a name is the database column name. I would like to have some alias name saying that payment term. Invoice number is A1, currency is US dollar, payment term is immediate, amount is 1000. but payment is not done so far. Okay. So the invoice is stable. You got all the information, but some information stored as a IDs internally. That's database is designed like that. Database is designed like that to capture that information, right? Now AP underscore term stable is having the details, then we are trying to get. Same thing, I just wanted to get the supplier information, supplier name I want. But in the invoice table, I have supplier ID, nothing but a vendor ID I have. I have vendor ID in the invoices table, right? But client is asking vendor name. I don't want vendor ID. I need a vendor name, means supplier name, for which supplier this invoice is raised. Then we have to join with our main table where you will find the supplier information. Actually, supplier information stores in the table called HZ. You cannot join this table directly with this table. There is another table you need to include that's called POZ suppliers. POZ suppliers table is going to have the supplier information. Okay. It's going to have supplier information. First, we have to join the invoice table with the POZ suppliers. Then join this POZ suppliers table with the HZ. It's very simple now. Write another condition. If invoices all dot vendor ID equal to POZ suppliers dot vendor ID. Okay. Then join this POZ suppliers dot party ID equal to SZ parties dot party ID. Then you can find your party name here, but a supplier name. SZ parties dot party name, nothing but supplier. Advanced corporation. You got vendor ID in the main table. I don't want vendor ID, I need vendor name. So we need to join with the parent table of suppliers. Okay. Amount paid is right now 0 because we have not paid the amount so far. Let me make this payment. Just do it. Let me validate the invoice. I'll go for partial payment. Out of $1,000 needs revalidation. Seems okay. Taxes calculated. Let me make the taxes 0. So the reason why I'm showing from the front end and back end is you will come to know what is happening when we make some changes in the front end. And after we make some changes, we are clicking this button, right? Save or save and close or submit button. Internally, system will execute some code. Internally, system will execute the code, insert statement and some logic. That's going to update the information in the database tables. Every time when you click the button, save or save and close or submit, internally it stores into the database tables. Even these buttons also, when I click validate, their information will be updated that it's validated, right? Right now the status is needs revalidation, now it's validated. So this is all data stores in the backend database table. So let me validate, let me create accounting transactions. Now, how much amount invoice? $1,000. I wanted to make the payment for this invoice. Let me make $350. Installment wise, I'll go for the check. Instead of electronic payment method, I'm selecting payment method as check. Let's go for save and close. Go for save and close. Invoice number is A1. Let me make $350 payment. Go to the tab here, payments. for which business unit you are going to raise this payment from US1 BU. Who is the supplier? For which supplier you are going to make the payment? Advanced corporation, fine. And about the supplier site, and then disburse bank account. From which bank account you are going to make the payment? Choose this bank account. Payment method check. We are going to issue the check, and we are going to choose payment process profile here. Let me select standard check format here, and payment document nothing but check number, and choose the invoices. You can make the payment either for single invoice or multiple invoices. I'm making for one invoice, and I'm not paying full amount. $1,000 is there. I'm just paying only $350. Okay, let's go for save and close. Now payment is done. $50 we have paid to supplier. The balance will be $650, right? Now the same, if I check from the backend database tables, I can find this database. Invoice amount is $1,000 and paid amount is $350. And let me go back to the query. I wanted to show the balance. Simple logic we have to write here. Invoice amount. You got already invoice amount right here. Invoice amount minus paid amount. Invoice amount can have bracket symbol for easy understanding. And you can also have the alias name here, balance. There will be a lot of SQL functions and queries and subqueries, joins, all these things needs to be done, right? So the balance is 650. Okay, so this is how we'll go for write, the queries. This is purely technical consultants job, but as a functional, we can have an idea. Okay, what will happen if I perform some transactions in the front end, and how it will be stored in the database tables, how it will be retrieved this from the database. This is about just having some transaction in the front end and how we can write the query. This we call it as a data model. So save this. When we try to save this query, internally it will be saved as data. Let me save. When we try to save, system is going to ask us here, do you want to save in my folders or you want to save it in shared folders? My folders means only the current user can access. In fact, other users cannot run and they cannot access also. Obviously, when we are working in the project, the data model must be saved in the shared folders. For every module, there is a folder defined by Oracle: procurement module, projects module, financials module, like this. This will find for every module: expense module, payments, payables. When we talk about HCM, human capital management, we can find benefits module, role module, okay, time and labor, learning module. Like this we'll find. Right now, this is related for financials. So you can keep it in financials, or we have custom folder. Custom folder is basically to store the customizations or development, whatever we have done for the client. So that's why when we are working in the project, we'll use this custom folder and we'll create separate folder for us. Just maintaining this is for RTL. Yes, okay. Already exist in this catalog. Okay, fine. So if you want to go ahead with that, it's fine. Otherwise, let's say RTL Finance. I would like to keep all the finance reports here. A separate folder I have created here, RTL Finance, and then I'm trying to keep my data model here. RTL Invoice data model. Yes, okay. So what is data model? Data model is nothing but selecting the data from the database by writing the SQL queries, either one or multiple queries. And we can also write some functions, group level functions. It means report level functions. And we can also write the functions at expressions at query level also. And we can define the triggers Because it won't allow in the SaaS model, it allows only in the PaaS model here. We can have the flex fields data also, descriptive flex field, key flex field, extensible flex field. We talked about different flex fields like that, about the parameter, LOB, busting concepts. That's all here it is. So here, let me save this. We have already saved it. You can find that here it has been saved. Let's say we are in the catalog. I just wanted to open my query like this. Let me close here. So how we can navigate into our data model and how we can open this. So let's come back to the tools menu here. Let's go to navigator here. Tools menu. Go to reports and analytics. Go to browse catalog. You can find here. I can find the path. Location is shared folders, system, finance folder. Within that, we have the data model. The moment when you place the cursor here, we can find this is a data model. And if we want to modify this, we can edit. And we have the permissions. You can have the access. If at all you want to give the permission to other users, you can give it from here. So this is how it's work, the data model. So this knowledge is required even for functional consultant also. And technical consultant, this is very basic level. If someone trying as a finance technical consultant, this is very basic level in BI reports, because a lot of templates and other things needs to be done when you are going to apply as a technical consultant. Okay. Yeah.